Hi everyone, welcome back. It's Moine, aka Swedish Whiskey Girl, and today it's Bunnahabhain day. As you can see, I have been lucky enough to have this little masterclass kit, which I was gifted, but it was only also available on their website, although I don't know if it still is. And this is for the exclusive Feis bottlings for Feis 2022. Because today is the Bunnahabhain day. I have my little sheet cards here as well, but we're gonna try 5 whiskies and see what we think. I did try all of these yesterday at the tasting, but I only had quick little sips just to kind of follow along, and I thought I would do the proper tasting here with you all. I also might look here. I'm actually gonna open that because I have the pricing, because you know how I always forget pricing, so I thought I'd keep an eye on that for you. Yeah, we are going to have a little sip of the Bunnahabhain 12, just as it's kind of I have it here, and it's kind of that kind of gateway Bunnahabhain character. I know I like it like I don't know what you say, but like a heart to return to, and then we can see what the other ones are. So, oh, I also realized this glass, I don't know if you've seen this before, but I have one glass which is a real chunky glass, and this one is so heavy and it's like throws me off when I'm swirling with it. But yeah, we're gonna have a little quick look on this. On the nose, it's just those kind of Oloroso characters, nutty, like a warm hug on the nose, quite sweet fruits, but dark, deep fruits. And on the palate, it's also pretty much what it is on the nose. It's that kind of nice sherry influence, not too much, not too little. It's a good whiskey. I mean, I've spoken about this before, and if you're curious to see more of a in-depth chat about the 12, then please look at that one. I think I'm going to put it up here or there, so you can see it. But we're going to move on to the Aven Arig. Araig? Aven Arig? Maybe? So I believe this means the river Araig. I'm not getting away from that word, even in Gaelic, because Aven means river. And this is, let's see, what does it retails at £95, and it's been matured in ex-bourbon and also PX. So it's yeah, a mix of the two. What was I gonna say? I don't know. Let's try it. Sounds like a good idea. Straight away, I feel like you can get a difference from the 12 because it just has a little bit of a sweeter sherry tone, whereas Oloroso is more nutty. I think that's a good way of describing it. It's a little bit more nutty, a little bit more savoury. PX is more sweet. Sweet and almost jammy in a way. And I feel like you get that on the nose straight away, especially coming from the 12. But if I'm comparing it to the 12, it's almost like I nose the 12 and I'm like, Oloroso. Nose this one and I get pretty much the same character as Bunnahabhain 12, but with PX. So let's have a sip and see what we think there. Sláinte. I know what I forgot. 50.8% ABV. Because I was testing it, I went, that's higher in ABV. So I might add some water to it. I know Brendan said that if he had full control over bottling it, he probably would have bottled it at 46.3 or something like that, if I remember it correctly. And I can see why, because it's a little bit spicy. But he also knows that a lot of people that like Bunnahabhain, they like having the option of either drinking it at a higher strength or watering it down, because you can do that at home. And because all of the other Feis releases have been around 50 or natural strength, so he thought I'd bottle it at that. But yeah, I do get a little bit of a spiciness. I don't think I would have minded it being at 46.3 instead. But we're going to add some water to it and just see what we think. It does have quite a jammy texture, bit of sweetness, but also that kind of the alcohol spice with some kind of grassy bitterness. So let's add a little bit of water and see if that does something positive or negative with it. On the nose, I'm almost getting more of a cookie note coming out with the water. It's not like that kind of jammy, it's not just only the kind of jammy PX, it also has another kind of biscuity note. Yeah, I think I prefer it with the water because it just less alcohol, more flavour for me. A little bit perfumed. It's not like a PX jam compote. It's just the influence of the PX, but with the spirit that's quite woody and a little bit floral. A little bit of the grassy bitterness, but it calms down a bit with the water. Yeah, I think it's an alright whiskey. I would probably, I'm going to have a little sip of it. Been a choice between these two, I'd probably go for the 12 actually, because I think they're similar in flavour, but one is £95 and the other one isn't. So I'd probably just go for the 12 if it was me buying the bottles. But really interesting to try, especially when it's that kind of PX influence as well. Because I've tried, when I was, I don't know what happened there. I was moving my foot at the same time and I was going to go, ooh, but it turned out way darker than I thought it would. When we did a warehouse tasting at Bunnahabhain with the wonderful David, we tried a PX, which was really good. So it definitely works with the Bunnahabhain spirits. So it just depends on what you like. This next one, however, was my favourite yesterday. So this is a 1998 Calvados cask finish. Been finished for just over, for 2 years. Trying to remember what they said, but for 2 years. And this is a £400, I think. Yeah, £400. And we're gonna try it. Oh. I feel like when I have these many whiskies to try, I get a bit confused where I am and what I'm saying. Especially as I feel like some of the alcohol just goes straight up to my head and then I'm like, whew. But yes, let's start by having a look on the nose on this. And I was talking to Cody about this. It's hard with Calvados because already hearing that it's Calvados gives you notes. Like you would immediately think of apples and pears. Which is the first thing I'm getting on the nose of this as well. And it would have been so interesting to try it blind to see if you're still getting that. But I want to say that it's definitely apples and pears. It's like a apple and pear heavy. So like if you had a perfume and the top notes were apple and pear and then you had a heart note underneath which was like some sort of sweet floral. That's what I'm getting on the nose. I think it's absolutely stunning on the nose. The nose makes me wish I had £400 to spend on a whiskey. Because I could just sit with this and nose it forever. It's warm, springtimey. It's different as well. Almost has a bit of sweet citrus, like a pomelo or something like that. But also some kind of like baked thing in the middle, like apple cookies or apple crumble pie or something like that. So fresh in the edges, and then in the heart there's something baked, but overall quite sweet, and also the floral notes are sweet as well. But let's have a taste. Sláinte. Actually, what's the ABV? 49.7. Sláinte. The palate is an intriguing one as well, because the palate is not so appley and pears. Oh, I almost need to sneeze. Do I need to sneeze? Oops. It's more woody on the palate. Still quite fresh though. And it has like a nice balance. Doesn't have as much bitterness as the Aven Arig, but just a tad too much for this kind of smoothness that I quite like in whiskey. I am going to add a little bit of water just to see what we think. The nose is even sweeter with and brings out more of the baked tones on the nose. Ooh, the water brings out more apples and pears. Yeah. Huh. Interesting. I will have a little taste through at the end just to kind of check which ones I'm going to kind of rate them a little bit. But let's move on because we still have 2 to go, and I know I chat a lot. So next up, checking £199. This is at 52.2% ABV. It's the Bunnahabhain 2004 Moine, I think you say, Tokaij cask finish. So the Moine, we're just going to say that now, is the peated spirit from Bunnahabhain. And the Tokaij cask, so it's Hungarian oak. Tokaij is a white wine, like a sweet white wine from Hungary, and it's delicious. And what was I going to say? Yeah, it's been finished in the casks for just over a year. The smoke on this on the nose is just lovely. It has like a... If you imagine Ian McKellen's voice when he's like Gandalf, this kind of dark, husky, murmury, wonderful voice, and then that was a smoke. That's the smoke I'm getting. It's just it's like a dunnage warehouse. I was gonna say on fire, but that's not what I meant. Like a dark, deep wine cellar, and then if you had a bonfire, which is just like gives this kind of murky smoke, and then in the middle of it has something super sweet and delicious. Sláinte. It's quite interesting with Bunnahabhain because I usually don't tend to go for the Moine, because I really like their unpeated stuff. But I'm a big fan of this one. I think it's interesting. On the palate, has a little bit of alcohol spice, so I'm going to also add some water to it. But just like that smoke and the sweetness works together, and it's almost like ripe yellow fruits, and then something almost like artificial, like a candy sweetness in the middle, and then that murky Ian McKellen voice smoke. But let's add some water. Probably gonna have a few glasses of water after tasting all of these as well, because I have no tolerance for whiskey and it goes straight into my head. I'm surprised my cheeks haven't started going red yet. With the water on the nose, brings out more of that kind of golden sweetness in the middle. Ooh, ooh, with the water. The first thing you get when you've added the water is this really kind of artificial tutti frutti sweetness, and then after it's like a wave of the smoke. Good, good, good. I'm actually going to check a quick thing here. And yeah, because the last one you may have seen in the intro is this unbranded little bottle, and that's because we did the tasting yesterday when the information was still embargoed so that we wouldn't accidentally tell anyone or release it early. But this is an 1881 Oloroso matured Bunnahabhain, which sits at 45.4% ABV. And that was available as a little bit extra for those people who are on Islay who are gonna show up. I know they have people that kind of camp almost overnight at the distillery to get a hold of the bottles. So that was just something that is a little bit extra special that you didn't know was gonna be there. And that'll be a happy surprise for those who can afford it. But we are gonna have a little sip of it and see what we think. On the nose, it has this kind of dunnage warehouse note straight away, that kind of damn wine cellar whiskey note, like maturing whiskey. Quite a lot of vanilla on this one. Vanilla and a bit of pear. It reminds me of kind of estery tones. A lovely, lovely nose, almost like golden pineapple as well. You can pick up those mature fruits that you often get from older whiskies on the note. On the nose, on the note. But let's have a sip. Sláinte. It is just so rich and indulgent. It's has an Oloroso tone, but not so much of the nuttiness. More kind of dry, tanniny Oloroso goodness, but without the nuttiness, which is quite interesting. Does have a bit of that older fruits underneath. A little bit of wood, but just enough to kind of balance out the others. This is elegant. This is something you'd like after dinner as like a special treat. Along with the cheese, that would be delicious. A little bit of spice, a little bit of fruitiness. I mean, it's just something special. And I'm a big fan of that. But we are gonna, because I know I've went on for quite a while, we're gonna have a little quick sip, or I'm gonna have a little quick sip of all these, and then just do a little roundup of them. The 12. Because now they've been standing a bit with the water as well, so I'm interested to see what's happened. This is the Aven Arig. Yeah. The Calvados from 1998. And the Tokaij Moine. And the 1881 Oloroso. Oh, it's like peach sweet on the nose now. That's interesting. That did change some of my opinions actually. So the 1881 actually going to be in top. I thought it might be the Calvados, but I think that's just good whiskey. I'm going to put that top, followed by the Calvados. I think it's interesting, it's a little bit different. I thought I was going to put the Tokaij after that, but trying the Aven Arig again brought out a lot more depth. So that's going to be there. And then I'll put the Tokaij and then the 12 at the bottom. I think the 1881 is outstanding. Really big fan of that. Calvados is interesting. I would just want something extra on the palates, just to bring it out to a different level, but it's still lovely. The Aven Arig, am I saying that different every time? Yeah, solid. With the water, now it just has, like, it's rounded off all the edges. Still get a little bit of an edge on the 12, maybe I just need to add some water. And then, yeah, good lineup. I mean, have you tried any of these? Have you managed to get hold of one of these bottles? Do you like Bunnahabhain? Do you not like them? Why? Or have you been to Feis maybe and visited Bunnahabhain at some point? Please let me know in the comments below. But I hope you've enjoyed this video. I've really enjoyed sampling these for you. And I hope you will join me in the next one. If you would like to support the channel, I'd of course be thrilled if you'd consider leaving a thumbs up or subscribing if you haven't already. And I've also put my affiliate links to Master Malt Whisky Exchange or the Scottish Malt Whisky Society in the link in the section here below. I have also been a lot better at blogging recently, so if you want to check out more distillery visits and stuff like that, whisky news, check out my blog. I've also put it in the section here below. I of course hope you're having a lovely day, and I'll see you in the next video. Sláinte Skål.